podcast, Brooklynn and John. So you two are both sophomores, and to start this off, I'd like to ask, what do you think being sophomores, what do you think that brings to your perspective, like that other classes might not have? Because you've had a year under your belt, but you're still like an underclassman, still kind of new to it. So what do you think that brings you?
I think we're a little bit more fresh. We got a little bit more of new ideas, new stuff to bring to the program, maybe some new energy.
Mm-hmm.
I think it leaves us for track points, just since we'll have it for the next couple of years, we kind of have a different perspective on things from being younger, we can see how other people in our grade are developing and know how it's going to turn out, I guess. Does that make sense?
I think we also have some time to go, so we have some room to develop and get better.
Yeah. So you talked about new energy. What do you plan to bring for your new energy, going into leadership positions in the future?
I think it's good to have some really just optimism and some very much forward looking, light at the end of the tunnel sort of thinking, because that's what really gets you through a lot of stuff, is thinking, I know this is going to be hard, but I see that light and I know I can work for that and get right to that at the end.
How do you stay optimistic in times of hurt?
It's a little bit force of will, where you just you also kind of practice that too, where it's maybe I'm in some hard spot, maybe I'm not really where I'm up where I should be, but I gotta calm down and think, okay, right here, right now, I gotta just bring it into this. I just gotta think, okay, it's gonna hurt, but I got this and I can do this. I'm just gonna go for it.
Okay. And you talked about getting more developed so that you can become the point earners in the future.
Yeah.
So how do you think, or what do you think some of the most important things that you do to develop your skill?
I definitely think it's training, but knowing your point of how hard you can train, because I feel this last week was a very good example. The Titan Classic, we were training so hard and we're all just really worn out when it came to it. And so I think it's knowing your point of brightness and how hard you can go before how hard you can go basically, because you can't be training the hardest you can every single day. It's not going to help. It's day by day pushing harder, and some days you'll be harder than others, but at the end of the day it's going to work, it's going to be fine. And I feel Tate was a good example. Her sophomore year she was running the same times as me, and her senior year she's out of the waters, school record, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's a prime example of how it's going to develop in the future.
Okay. And then you mentioned Tate, and I know you're wanting to get that school record by the time you graduate. So what do you think you're doing specifically to get you to that point?
So I feel last year it wasn't a very good 400 straight workouts. We were kind of with the sprinters, and I did talk to Simpson, and I was is there any chance we can have 400 workouts to push ourselves, because doing sprinter workouts isn't going to help, or going just straight long distance. So he was yeah, and I feel this new year with the 400 workouts, it has been pushing us a lot better. I can see the mental side of it, people are much more stronger, and even the outcomes of our times are better than they have been in the past.
Okay. And John, I know you're kind of known for your mindset around the distance squad, even beyond that. So what do you think contributes the most to your, I can describe it by saying pure grit. How do you keep that up? Because you don't really have off days, or when you noticeably do, you still put out the effort, and you never fall too far behind. You never blow up.
Mm-hmm. Well, I guess you just kind of have to start with a little bit of confidence to think, okay, well, I got this, I can do this. It's going to be a little hard, but I know that even though it's going to hurt, I know that I have the ability and the will that I can just go out and I can do this. And it's just kind of I know that how hard I work, I'm going to receive that back. And so that I want to push everything I can so I can get everything back, and just not try and let myself just fall into a hole and let myself just sort of drift away. I just got to be here in the present, in the moment, and I got to push and I got to work for it so I can be successful.
Okay. So let's say you talked about that hole. Let's say you fall a little deep into it, or you get closer than you'd like to. how do you say like you get out of it or get away from it?
That's kind of like the hard part is like you could get like really distracted about it and you can really beat yourself up because you're thinking like I'm trying as hard as I can, or I should have like went for it and I didn't, and you can really just beat yourself up about it. And what you gotta do is you gotta just like calm down and just know, okay, well, that's in the past now, and I just gotta know, okay, I'm gonna rest a little bit and then I'm just gonna try everything I can and hit it back hard on the next one.
Okay. So you say like you calm yourself down, kind of
Mhm.
like get refocused.
Mm-hmm.
How would you say, like when you're kind of overwhelmed, like say even in a race, how do you like calm yourself back down?
Breathing is a good one. I know with a race it could be a little hard to like really just bring yourself together while you're in the moment. So you just gotta like work on a breathing pattern and just make sure like just find a way where you can just find a spot where you could just like breathe in, breathe out, and just like try and bring yourself together and take like all that emotions you're feeling and just like try and focus it. Because if you just let yourself just outburst and just like start taking out on everyone, it's not really gonna help. It's not gonna get you anywhere. So you just gotta have like, you gotta discipline yourself so you could just say, okay, this thing, I'm gonna go for it now.
Okay. Then how do you stay disciplined?
It's really just kind of like practice. You just gotta like do it. Maybe it's like getting up at a certain time every day, and maybe it's just like I'm gonna eat this thing or I'm gonna eat at this time. Maybe instead of like staying on my phone, I'm gonna read for an hour, and no matter how bad I want to get on my phone, I'm gonna do that. Or it's just like you just keep doing that, and you just build it up, and it just practice it. Keep doing it.
And Brooklyn. So we have had a lot of like distance runners on the podcast, but what do you think, like your perspective as a sprinter and hurdler, like what do you think that perspective is that distance runners like might miss out on?
I feel like we all have like a good like mindset with it comes to that, but I feel like for distance, I could be wrong because I'm not a distance runner, but like when like I look at it, you have to see more of the whole race because it can like change really fast too. So like you can be like, oh, they're like 100 meters ahead, but like I can get there and I can push like because you have like a mile or 2 mile or however long you're running. But for like sprinters, I feel like it's a more like you have to go straight away. Like you cannot like mess up your footstep or something. So it's a lot of like technique that maybe like they don't have. Because like we have to like practice a lot of like our technique work. We have to practice a lot of like having our toe up, our knee up, whatever, and getting out of the blocks fast enough because the race is so much shorter than what we have. So it's a lot of like I feel like our form would be better. Is better than like what you guys probably have because you guys probably don't work on that as much because yours is more of like going a long distance, having a good mindset the whole race, being able to like push that 3 miles, 2 miles, however long it is.
And so being a shorter race, you said you have to get out. How do you, okay, so, like say, I'm in the 400 and 800, so I'm kind of in that like mid-distance, like sprint kind of area. But I know I've been told like, you don't really have, like in a mile or 2 mile, you have a little more time to like decide to go out, like say with a lead pack. Like if you get a little off, you have more time, like you were saying. But even in like shorter races that you might have been in, like how do you make that like decision quickly?
For the 4, it's like last year I wouldn't get out fast enough. So then the last 200 you have to like pick it up faster and faster. But I feel like this year I changed it and I tried to get out fast and it did make like a very big difference because my like outcome was better because I'm already out and like for my mindset for the 400 it's like I'm already in the pain, so I'm going to be at the pain in the end anyway because those hurt. So I'm like might as well get out fast and like not regret like going out slow and being in like the same kind of mindset and pain, I guess, because like the 400 is going to hurt no matter what. So I like getting out instead of like waiting till the end because like people will be like, oh, I have no energy. You're going to have none at that end anyway, so you might as well get out faster and get like a better time.
Do either of you want to talk like or dig deeper into pain? I know, John, do you have anything?
Pain could be a very like deep thing. It could very like touch you really way down in your soul, and so you just gotta be able to like take that pain and just grab it in your hand and clench it and be able to like focus on it and bring some power from it.
Okay. So you're talking that can like relate back to like emotions. Like if you're just gonna leave them going everywhere, then you're not really gonna accomplish anything. But if you can focus them to like a specific goal. So do you think, or Brooklyn, you have a goal of like getting the school record by the time you graduate? Do you have any, or how do you guys like remain goal oriented? Because sometimes like if you're in a rut, it can get like hard to maintain that focus.
For me, I feel like since I did make like my mind up for the goal so young, it's kind of just been something that has like pushed me like every meet and every like practice. I'm like, well, I'm obviously gonna like be like this workout may be hard, but it's gonna push me to where I want to be. And for like me, like my mindset has always been something that like kind of like gets all over the place, and I just like need to like calm down. So this year has been like a very big thing, like making sure like the workouts, like it's gonna be hard, but I'll get through it. Making sure my mindset is better, because like last year I'd be like, oh, like my time's bad, I'm not gonna get it. But that's not like a good mindset to go out with. Like if you have the mindset that you're gonna get it, then most likely one day you're gonna get it. But if you have a mindset like I'm never gonna get it, then you're not gonna get to where you want to be, because you're just gonna push yourself back and like keep putting yourself down when you want to lift yourself up and be like, I'm capable of it. Like I know I can get there.
Okay. An important part of it is to like know when you need to just let yourself rest, because like of course you want to like push yourself for it and like be able to make it so you can get it, but you want to make sure that like you're not gonna like go out and just rip yourself apart. You want to be able to just say, okay, I've done what I need to do, so now I'm just gonna sit back and let myself recuperate.
Okay. And like having a goal and like going one step farther and sharing that goal to other people, you're gonna have people that like one, don't believe in you. You're gonna have people that obviously support you, but there's gonna be like a lot of skeptics out there, especially if it's something as like large as a school record, because obviously only one person has that. So how do you think, or both of you have lofty goals, I know that. So how do you deal with like people who are skeptical that you can do it, and like not shut them out, but like use their criticism to your advantage, I guess?
For me, I like people like believing that I can't do it, because then when I do, I'm like, look at me. Like that's just for me. And so like when people do it, I think it doesn't really necessarily bring me down, because like I think it actually boosts it, because then I'm like, okay, this is gonna make me push harder. This is gonna make me want to do it. Instead of when people are like, oh yeah, you got it, and then I'm like, okay, well now I don't want to try as hard, because like no one's not believing in me. So I feel like it just like kind of depends on the way like it comes out. Like if you're like, you're not gonna get it, and then you like go out and get it, you're like yeah, like that just made me like better, like that just made me like feel better. Instead of people like, no, you're not gonna get it because of like this and this. And so I guess it kind of just depends on like how you take it and like how you make it like affect you, if that makes sense.
Okay. Well, that's kind of where the confidence comes in, because of course you have strength in your friends and your community, but you also want to be able to have like strength in yourself. Or that exactly in that case, if people are thinking like, oh, you're not going to do it, you can't do it, you can like say, well, I have power in myself, I believe in myself, and I will do it as well. That's kind of one thing where if they are like really just sort of pushing your buttons, you can, instead of lashing out at them, just kind of bring it in and use it as part of something to drive you to get it.
Okay. So you mentioned confidence. I feel like that's one of the points I've struggled with the most in running is confidence. So like how do you keep yourself like confident even in like difficult times, I guess?
I guess you try and find a peace of mind where it's just like, well, I know that I did what I could, and I'm going to find some solace and some peace in that, and I'm going to be happy with that.
Okay. How do you remain confident?
I think it's just the mindset. Like you have to put yourself in the right mindset to be like, I know I tried my, like kind of like what John said, like I know I tried my best, I know I went as hard as I could. And I feel like if you like don't go as hard as you can and you like regret it, then I feel like that can mess with it. So I kind of just like go out, be like, I tried my best, I tried to get like as hard as I could, and I think that's what brings me like peace and like good mindset. Because if I don't go out, then I'll like regret it, and then it will be like a whole thing. So it's honestly like just going out as hard as you can each time, because if you don't, then you're gonna regret it and be like, what if I could have gotten a better time, or what if I could have beaten that record or whatever.
Okay. How do you deal with regrets in like a bad race?
For me, last year I feel like it was really, really bad. So this year I've been like working on it. Last year I used to like be like a whole baby about it, and I feel like this year it's more of like next time like I have another race, like it's gonna be fun. Like put it all into this week, like work hard. Because like I feel like if you just like, oh, like I suck, like I'm not gonna try, And so like if you go and you're like hard, like we have girls on our team that like have pushed me like harder, like you got this, like push out, go out. Like for yesterday's workout, like I was like, well, I don't really want to do it, like I'm dead, and then I was just like, no, because if I don't, then I'm gonna regret it. And then at the meet, I'm like, oh look, like it's because I didn't do it hard enough or whatever.
How do you deal with regret?
I think it's just kind of like with the regret of like maybe I didn't go as hard as I could have, or you just feel like you just weren't putting the effort in. It's just, that's one of those moments where you just gotta step back and understand that there's maybe you're tired, maybe you haven't eaten right, maybe you haven't stretched, maybe something else, and so you just gotta know, I just gotta calm down, and then if I'm still like just feeling it like tugging at me, I just gotta know, okay, I'll just do it my next one. If I don't do it, then that's it. That's just how it is. Just gotta leave the past at the past and the dead to the graves.
Okay. Now, you mentioned since you're sophomores, you have fresh perspectives. Okay, so do you see anything that you'd like to change in the track programs or cross-country programs too, like going into, say, junior or senior year when you have like a little more leadership?
I feel like I don't think this really evolves to cross country, just like the way I've seen it, but since there's so many people on track, it's kind of hard to do like team bondings, just because there's so many people and everyone has like their own little cliques, like hurdlers or sprinters or the distance crew. So like kind of just like being able to involve everyone into like an activity to get to know everyone, because it's really, really hard since there is 70 girls on the team. So I feel like that's what I would do, is like try to fix like the bonding and being able to get everyone to be like together and like closer and like more friendships, I guess.
I think team bonding is definitely an important thing to have, and I think having moments where you could just like bring the team together, maybe it's for some kind of like social, some kind of like team dinner or whatever, is like a really good thing to have. And I know over the summer at the cross country we did some of that, and I think that'd be a really nice thing to continue, and maybe something to bring over to track.
Yep. So this question kind of builds off of the one I just asked, but as like when you go into your senior year, you're going to have like a lot more like leadership opportunities to like you can organize and plan like as many team bondings as you can handle. So what does your like perfect senior year like in a leadership perspective look like for either track or cross country, John?
I feel like I've always like wanted to like be that leader role, like that is like something that's in like kind of like what I want. So like I feel like someone that like the younger girls are able to look up to and ask for like help, like can you help me on my form, or can you help me with something that's going on, or how do you get your mentality to be like so much like stronger and like okay with like the outcomes if it's not as well, or like however that is. So I want them to be like, I can go to Brooklyn if there's anything that I need to talk to, and I want them to be like, she's pushing the hardest she can, and then see like she's trying. So like even if she doesn't have her best race, she's still going out every single day at practice. She's not skipping. She's not going to do other things. She's being here. She's being present. She's pushing us and being able to like cheer everyone on. Like I try to do that every meet is like go out, no matter like who you are, like what event you do. Like even if I'm like warming up, like if I see you on like doing a 100 and I'm warming up for the 4, I'm like, yeah, keep going. Like you got it. Like push, like whatever. So like just be able to like make people think that you're like, not think, but like know that you're there, that you want to like support them and you want to like push them and be the best that you can be.
I think getting to know a lot of the lower classmen would be good, and like just organizing a few socials and a few dinners. I think that'd be really good.
Okay. And so what is one piece of advice you give to the freshmen or your own class, like either like at your level or below?
I feel like for the freshmen, it's just go out and get it and don't be afraid to like attack and like because I feel like when I was a freshman, I was like, well, it's like their senior year, like for like the upperclassmen, like it's their junior and senior year, like I'm not gonna like take that from them, but like go out and just push, because like you don't know what you're capable of until you do it, and so like go out, like show them what you got, because you're gonna regret it if you don't. So just like and try to start with like a good mindset your freshman year, so you don't have to like make it up like your junior or senior year, because that's really hard to get out of once you already like put yourself down or like regret like not doing like the right like eating or sleeping or like doing all that stuff.
going to be difficult, but that's what we're here for, and you're stronger than you know.
Okay. And something you said, like junior or senior year, the great thing about track is that it really doesn't matter about class. Like John last year was our best 2-miler as a freshman, so I mean, yeah, it really does not matter. You are, yeah, what you said, John, rings true. Like you're stronger than you know. Yeah, number 1 freshman, 2-miler, right? Yeah, it's crazy. But so something not a lot of people probably ask is, like of underclassmen, is like, what is your advice for upperclassmen? So seeing that you're sophomores, you have like a year of experience, but you're still like fresher than a junior or senior. Like, what is your advice to those juniors and seniors?
For the seniors, like since they're going off to college, like still go out and like attack, like still like push like what you have, like even just in the real world, I guess, like getting a job or like whatever you're gonna do in college and like your major, whatever, like go out and like show them what you have and like get out, like just like be able to like be like who you are still, like get on track, like get out of the blocks, like get out and show them, like if that makes sense. Like
Yeah,
I'm trying
it
like
definitely
for
does.
them to
Yeah.
I know it's been a long road, but don't let yourself get bogged down. There's a light at the end of the tunnel, and you can get to it.
All right. Well, thank you both for being on the podcast, especially early in the morning, and make it a great day.
All right,
Thanks for inviting us.
Yeah.
Yep. Thank you for tuning in to Amp Up Season 2. Credits go to Casey Kruger for making the amazing animated intro, Coach H, of course, for creating Season 1 and letting us to carry it on and make it our own with the Season 2. Thank you to Isaac Hazelhorse and Dakota Miser for doing a lot of behind-the-scenes work. We have the video version on YouTube as well as podcast version on Apple Podcasts and Spotify for if you want audio only, so you can listen whenever and wherever you want. Also, big thank you to all the guests we have. Really appreciate all of them coming out and speaking to help you guys, the athletes, and whoever else may be listening. So thank you and stay hard.